Today, I am alive because of cancer. And what do I mean by that? See, 4.5 years ago, my life was completely different than it is today. I was a #1 sales rep at a company selling a product and service for doctors who treat people every day with cancer. And what made me different then than now is that every time I went into a doctor's office, the only person I was worried about was myself. And what do I mean by that? I was worried only about hitting my sales goal, hitting my quota, because I was addicted to being #1. As a matter of fact, I would get goosebumps when a doctor would tell me, "Troy, we have a product and service that we're going to use for a patient." And I would get excited because that would get me closer to my goal. So one day, 4.5 years ago, I was driving to Tiffin, Ohio. And Tiffin is in the middle of nowhere in northwest Ohio. And it was kind of like a gloomy day today, but like anything in northwest Ohio, it was about a 35-mile-an-hour wind, and it was very cold. And I was going into a sales call just like I always had each day before, only thinking about myself. And as I walked into the oncology center, I walked right by 3 different people who were battling for their life by battling their cancer. And my phone went off. And I looked down, and it was my mom. And I'm ashamed to say that I was ready to ignore the phone call and go right in and see the doctor and try to get more business. Well, that day I picked up the phone right away, and my mom said, "Troy, your sister Holly has stage 4 cancer." And if you've ever seen a movie where a successful actor gets something said to him that's bad news, and you see a 360 pan of the actor, and their phone drops. See, this was my moment that people have shared with me before that I had never felt, because before, I was the only one that was worried about my numbers. There's a picture of my sister Holly, 39 years old, 5'10", 120 pounds. Now, I was going to be on the other line. I was going to be on the other foot as far as seeing what it was like firsthand for somebody to be battling cancer. See, my sister and I were very close. When I was a baby, I survived spinal meningitis and had a lot of fever, had a lot of seizures. And it was my sister who didn't actually heal me through prescribing medication. She was too young. She healed me because she tried to have me forget about my illness. She just wanted to hug me and love me and just allow me to be a baby boy. And one thing that I found out that going through that process with my sister is that anything and everything for a person with cancer is revolved around the word cure. We walk for a cure, we run for a cure, and we donate money for a cure for cancer. But see, this wasn't the case, and I had visualized it myself. When I would run or train, I would actually visualize my sister getting to remission, and we'd have a very big party for her. That wasn't meant to be. My sister passed away after 18 months of battling stage 4 colon cancer at the age of 39. As we know, cancer does not discriminate. Why I'm here today is to go against what we've been taught as the #1 goal in cancer, and that's a cure. I want to talk about outcomes. In my job, as I said, I call on medical oncologists. I call on surgical oncologists. And we often talk about outcomes. This is a picture of somebody with stage 4 cancer. If you take a look at the liver, it's quite involved with a lot of tumor. Anytime you talk to a medical oncologist or a nurse, their main goal is to get somebody to remission or a cure. Why not, right? That was my goal with my sister. But what if that wasn't going to be the case? What if we could look at cancer quite differently? What if cure wasn't the ultimate goal? And I know that's going to go against everything we've been taught, but here at TED, we break the mold. We go against what the norm is. We have to set fire to average when it comes to cancer care. You see the numbers 5 and 5. I'm going to give you 3 types of cancer. Only 3. There's probably hundreds of them out there. Colon, pancreatic, and liver cancer. A 5-year survival of 5 years is 5%. If you could, the second row, can you please all stand up for me? Everybody in the second row. Everybody else sit down. All right. Today we have 315 people in this room. You would be the only people that would be alive in 5 years if you were diagnosed with any of those types of cancer, stage 4. The rest of us, including myself, our life would be expired. Thank you. Have a seat. Now, why did I bring that up? Well, I have a problem with that statistic. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to cure cancer. What I'm here to do, and to tell you today, is that we can do something that I feel is almost just as important, and that's provide an escape to cancer and a break. I want to introduce you to a patient that I've met. In my career, I've had the opportunity to meet well over 1,000 people battling cancer. And this is Angie. Angie was a 34-year-old mother of 1, single mother. Her daughter was Faith. Angie calls me up and says, Troy, I would just like to take my daughter Faith on a trip away from cancer. I know I'm at a point in my life where I'm not going to be cured. I thought that was really profound. And then she talked more. She said, Troy, all Faith has ever known me is to be somebody who is hooked up to an IV, who goes to doctor's appointments, gets shots, and is too sick for her to exactly know who I am. She knows me as cancer. I'm proud to say that Angie got an escape from her cancer. She went to Chicago with her daughter Faith and went to the American Girl doll store. And there's a picture of Angie like this, and Faith is over there as she's combing her American Girl doll. And what happened was, Angie at that point knew, the cure is not now for me, but I can escape cancer, and so can my daughter Faith. 6 weeks after this picture was taken, Angie passed away at the age of 34 to advanced breast cancer. What's awesome about this story is that last week I received an email from her daughter stating that the way she remembers her mother is not from her battling cancer, no. She remembers her trip to Chicago because she got an escape from cancer. She got to heal from cancer, not by medication, but by an escape. And finally, I'd like to introduce to you Jeff. Jeff is in his early 50s, and Jeff is battling advanced prostate cancer. Jeff called me up and told me about his life. And he told me about his love of his wife, Karen, and how for years he's been battling cancer, and she's never been able to have an escape. She's never been able to have a break. See, when you have cancer, picture a calendar, if you would, and picture all your life going on, your kids, everybody, like your sporting events, and then put cancer in that. And see, with Jeff, what happened was he actually ended up being able not to work as much as he'd like. In a person's last year of battling cancer, their average bills are over $100,000. My sister's was $1.5 million. So imagine trying to get an escape or look forward to something besides cancer if you have those bills, if you're constantly battling, let alone having the energy to have an escape. Jeff got to go away with his wife Karen and escape to the Grand Canyon, where he proposed to her 25 years ago. Jeff and Karen had something to look to besides their cancer. They're not thinking about a cure right now. They're not thinking about remission. That's not in the cards. And I'm proud to say that Jeff is here today with us. So in closing, I just ask that all of you look at your own lives and understand that we are above this part of the soil. We are living today. Cancer doesn't discriminate. Hell, like they say, tomorrow you could be ran over by a car. What I would recommend is that we celebrate life today like there is no tomorrow. Thank you.